Hey everybody, it is Corey, and it is episode 64 of Coach Barnabas, and thank you for joining me today. I'm going to try and keep this nice and short, but I just want to share something with you. I'm not going to go through what I've talked about in the last couple episodes. I've talked about my health issues from about a month and a half ago. But really what this has done, what this period has done for me has laser focused me on my purpose in life. And we talk about that a lot, or you hear that a lot. What's my purpose? And this sort of thing. And what has opened my eyes and mind to, and my heart to, is that time is short, and time is precious, and time is unpredictable. None of us are promised tomorrow. And with that mindset is like, do whatever you can to make today count. And that can mean a number of different things. It could just mean, have all the fun you can, say, leave nothing left unsaid to your friends and loved ones, which are all absolutely wonderful and I think true and healthy. But I also think it means that we need to, if you haven't already discovered your purpose in life, and people I think sometimes confuse that. Well, my purpose in life was to be, X profession, X, Y, Z profession. I was born for this. Well, and that may be that we have certain talents and inclinations that make us successful at certain professions, but is that your purpose? Maybe, for some, maybe it's, I don't know. I don't want to get into, different examples, but a profession can serve a particular purpose. For instance, being a minister, a pastor, an evangelist, a missionary. Absolutely. Being a doctor, I certainly benefited recently from the expertise and experience and education of medical professionals. So they certainly have a purpose in their lives that are associated with their jobs, their vocation. But even beyond that, if you strip away what you do for a living, you're on vacation, you're retired, it's the weekend and you have the time off. And as I record this, it's Labor Day weekend, so 3-day weekend. In my case, a 4-day weekend. But it's not the point. The thing is like, what is our purpose in life? And so for me, it has been a matter of, I've always believed, since I've been a Christian now for 42 years, that my purpose is to please Christ, to please the Lord. And that is no different today. But I think what has been ratcheted up is my purpose in making sure that He is known, that His goodness is known, and His mercy, that my testimony, my story that I've shared with you in episode 62, a couple episodes ago, about the miracle that, my health condition was, and how all that worked together. And again, if you haven't seen it or listened to it, episode 62, this is episode 64, so it's just a couple episodes ago. You can catch up on that. I'm not going to go through it once again. But even before that happened, now this is a month and a half ago, probably for the last 3 months, I've just been thinking about the term evangelist. Now, in a biblical or Christian sense, we think of an evangelist as somebody who is out on the streets or doing, some sort of crusade or something in a tent or in an arena or in a stadium, in a park somewhere, whatever the case may be, in attracting a crowd and preaching. Okay, and those are all examples of what evangelism is. But if you read Merriam-Webster's definition of evangelist, there's a third definition that goes beyond a biblical or Christian or religious definition, and it is an enthusiastic advocate. Okay, now if you're watching on the YouTube, you can see what I'm wearing, and you might call me an enthusiastic advocate of a particular NFL football team. Okay, and that would be fair. I am certainly an enthusiastic advocate of my team. But and all that is to say this, is that what happens if you go to a restaurant, you have a fantastic meal, you can't wait to tell your friends, you go online and social media, you have conversations with people. Oh my gosh, we went to this restaurant and it was fantastic. Great food, the great atmosphere, ambiance, the service was incredible, you name it, right? You can see a movie. Oh, you've got to see this movie. It was so good. You're just going to love it. It's entertaining. It's funny. It's exciting. Whatever the case may be. Going to a little getaway and staying at a particular hotel in this particular town. You're telling your friends. As you may know, my wife and I, we're Disney adults. We love Disney, so we're always eager to share our experiences and our the things we have come to learn through our experiences that help people plan their vacations. We love talking about that. So we can be evangelists about a number of different things that we're just simply enthusiastic about. But how much more, how much greater is it to be an enthusiastic advocate of our Savior, of the God of creation, the God of the universe, who created all of this. And that's what my purpose has been. And so you'll notice that the title of this episode is Living on Purpose and on Purpose. Now, here's the definition of the first one. You notice there's no hyphen in the first, on purpose. That means it's intentional. I remember back when I had a different job 25 years ago, I was having a meeting with a coworker who was up in Canada. And we had a meeting coming up with another larger group of people. And we had a fun little wager that they challenged me to, and I can't remember what the word was, but they challenged me to say a certain word that really didn't make any sense in the context of the meeting we were going to have. So, again, it wasn't anything profane or anything like that. It was just like a silly word, something that, how are you going to fit this word into this thing in a coherent way? And so they challenged me. And so the bet was that they would send me a case of my favorite Canadian candy bars, which are Aero bars, AERO. Love those candy bars. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that was the bet. They said they'd send me a case of Aero candy bars if I would use this word in this meeting. So they were trying to set me up to either just ignore it and they wouldn't owe me their debt, or two, put me in a situation where maybe I would embarrass myself. And for the case of Aero candy bars, I was willing to take that. And I did. We got to the meeting like a couple hours later, and somehow I inserted this word in the meeting and made it work. And within a week or so, case of Aero candy bars arriving at my doorstep, and I was a happy camper. So the purpose of my bringing that up is that I was intentional. I was intentional that I was going to make this statement, this comment in this meeting, because there was a reward coming to me on the other end. Excuse me. So I was purposeful. I was intentional about my mission in that silly scenario. But you get my point, is when you get up in the morning, you say, God, I'm going to be intentional about sharing you today. Give me an opportunity to share you with somebody, to talk about you, to introduce somebody to you, to, in a coherent, relevant way, share you with somebody throughout my day, whether it's at the grocery store, at work, in my neighborhood, you name it. I just want to be intentional about sharing you. Now, that is the first on purpose, is about being intentional. The second on purpose is, again, what is your purpose? And then being on task, being on purpose. Whatever it is I'm doing is on that purpose. And so that is the meaning of this title. That's the meaning of this episode, is being on purpose, on your purpose, being on task. What is your task? And that is to be an evangelist, to be an enthusiastic advocate for God. And so that's my encouragement to you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Be encouraged and be an encourager. I look forward to talking again very soon. Take care.
Thank you for joining the Coach Barnabas podcast. We'd greatly appreciate your support by liking and subscribing to the podcast and setting up notifications so we can let you know when new episodes are available. We'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment. Make a difference today.